Attack on Titan Volumes 9 and 10, written and illustrated by Hajime Isayama. Sasha, stationed with the Survey Corps in a remote castle, alerted her comrades to the presence of approaching Titans. Panic ensued as they realized Wall Rose had been breached. The soldiers quickly mobilized, knowing that another invasion meant countless lives were at stake. Mikasa, consumed by a gut feeling, directly confronted Reiner, her suspicions about him reaching a boiling point. Meanwhile, the recruits tasked with scouting the southern region found themselves on the front lines of this new invasion. Confusion reigned as they realized the breach wasn't at a gate, as in previous attacks. This meant the enemy was already deep within their territory, their movements and intentions a mystery. As they raced through the forests, the recruits were shocked by the sudden appearance of a large, hairy Titan unlike any they'd encountered before. This creature, later dubbed the Beast Titan, displayed an unnerving level of intelligence, calmly observing the soldiers and even engaging in conversation. The Beast Titan demonstrated its power by casually swatting down approaching Titans and grabbing one out of the air. It then turned its attention to the terrified soldiers, interrogating one about their weapons. The Beast Titan's strength and intelligence surpassed anything they'd faced, leaving the recruits utterly terrified. The situation grew even more dire when the Beast Titan, with a flick of its wrist, launched a barrage of rocks at the fleeing soldiers. Caught off guard and with no way to defend themselves, they were easily picked off, their bodies crushed beneath the relentless hail of stones. Only a handful of recruits survived this horrific encounter, their faith in humanity's survival shaken to the core. The 57th Expedition's return to Wall Rose was a somber affair. The loss of their comrades, especially at the hands of the cunning and powerful female Titan, weighed heavily on the survivors. Armin, tormented by guilt and his encounter with the abnormal Titan, confided in Jean, sharing his growing suspicions about Annie Leonhart. He had noticed her familiarity with Marco's equipment and her unusual reaction to Aaron's use of a nickname only those from the 104th Training Corps would know. Mikasa, overhearing their conversation, admitted to having similar doubts about Annie's fighting style, which mirrored that of the female Titan. Together, they decided to share their concerns with Aaron. However, without concrete proof, they hesitated to make any accusations. Meanwhile, Levi, ever observant, had already deduced the presence of a traitor among them. He challenged his squad to prove their loyalty and help him unmask the enemy within their ranks. His plan involved using Aaron as bait to lure the female Titan into a trap. The recruits, unaware of the true purpose of the operation, were tasked with guarding a convoy of supply wagons through the bustling streets of Stohess District. Aaron, hidden within a wagon, was plagued by anxiety, knowing he held the key to their success, but unsure if he could control his Titan form. Armin, his suspicions growing, observed Annie closely. Krista's unsettling calm and veiled hints about escaping added to his unease. He finally confronted Annie in the ruins of the planned underground city, asking her to help Aaron escape. Annie agreed, but as they made their way through the underground passages, their cover was blown. A military police officer recognized Armin, and the tension escalated quickly. Cornered and exposed, Annie transformed into the female Titan, bursting through the ground in a terrifying display of power. The female Titan's rampage turned the narrow streets of Stohess District into a chaotic battleground. Buildings crumbled under her feet as she relentlessly pursued Aaron. The recruits fought bravely, but their efforts were in vain against her overwhelming strength and speed. Aaron, witnessing the carnage and remembering Levi's words of encouragement, finally overcame his fear and transformed into his Titan form. This time, his transformation was complete, his Titan body strong and filled with rage. The clash of the Titans was a brutal and destructive spectacle. Aaron and Annie fought with a ferocity that shook the very foundations of Stohess District. Their roars echoed through the streets as they grappled, each determined to defeat the other. During the chaotic fight between Aaron and Annie in their Titan forms, a nearby tower collapses, trapping several recruits, including Krista. Ymir, in a shocking display of selflessness, transforms into a smaller, agile Titan to protect the trapped recruits. She battles the Titans surrounding the tower, giving the others a chance to escape. Ymir's actions reveal a secret she has kept hidden. She, like Eren, possesses the power to transform into a Titan. This revelation stuns her comrades, who are left to grapple with the implications of this new reality. As the sun rises, Ymir's Titan form collapses from exhaustion, and she reverts to her human form, weak and vulnerable. Later, while recovering from the battle, Krista revealed her true identity, Historia Race, a member of a noble family with a hidden past. She shared her story with Ymir, confessing her desire to live a life free from lies and expectations. Meanwhile, the Survey Corps faced another devastating blow. News arrived that Wall Rose had been breached, not at a gate, but somewhere along its vast expanse. The soldiers were dispatched to investigate, their hearts heavy with the knowledge that another Titan invasion was imminent. Connie Springer, one of the few survivors of the Beast Titan's attack, raced back to his village, only to find it in ruins. His home was destroyed, and the streets were eerily deserted. In the midst of the wreckage, lying motionless on top of his childhood home, was a Titan bearing a chilling resemblance to his mother. Back at Utgard Castle, the remaining soldiers found themselves trapped, surrounded by a horde of Titans. With dwindling supplies and no way to contact headquarters, they prepared for a last stand. In a shocking turn of events, Reiner Braun, seemingly overwhelmed by the hopelessness of the situation, confessed a devastating secret. He and Berthold Hoover were the Armored Titan and the Colossal Titan, respectively. They were the ones who had breached Wall Maria 5 years ago, unleashing the Titans upon humanity. Their revelation stunned the other soldiers, particularly Eren, who had trained alongside them, considering them friends and comrades. Reiner urged Eren to join them, to go home with them, but Eren, consumed by rage and disbelief, refused. As the Titans closed in, Reiner and Berthold transformed, revealing their true forms. Utgard Castle crumbled under the assault of the two colossal Titans, leaving Eren and the remaining soldiers to face an enemy they thought they knew. Eren eventually defeated Annie, but she encased herself in an impenetrable crystal, preventing them from capturing or interrogating her. The expedition returned to Wall Rose, their victory tainted by the heavy losses they suffered. The Survey Corps, fresh from their harrowing encounter with the female Titan, were given little time to recover. Stationed at Utgard Castle, they received news that sent a chill down their spines. Wall Rose had been breached. Panic erupted as they realized the breach wasn't at a gate, meaning the enemy had infiltrated deep within their territory. A scouting mission led by Nanaba revealed a new horrifying threat, a large, hairy Titan with unsettling intelligence. This creature, the Beast Titan, casually swatted down approaching Titans, interrogated soldiers about their weapons, and then unleashed a devastating barrage of rocks, crushing the recruits and leaving only a handful of survivors. After the expedition's harrowing escape from the female Titan, the Survey Corps were left licking their wounds. The soldiers returned to Wall Rose, shaken and disheartened. At Utgard Castle, they awaited further orders, but instead of reinforcements, they received alarming news. Wall Rose had been breached again. Panic gripped the recruits as they realized the Titans had somehow bypassed the gates, infiltrating deep within their territory. Their movements and intentions remained a mystery, adding to the growing sense of dread. The expedition beyond the walls to capture the female Titan was a complex operation relying on deception and misdirection. The recruits were tasked with guarding supply wagons through Stohess District, unaware that they were bait to lure out the enemy. Eren, concealed within a wagon, struggled with anxiety, knowing the weight of humanity's survival rested on his ability to control his Titan form. Armin, observing Krista's strange calmness and veiled suggestions about escape, grew suspicious. His suspicions culminated in a tense confrontation in the ruins of a planned underground city, where he accused Annie Leonhart of being the female Titan. Cornered and exposed, Annie transformed, bursting from the underground in a shower of debris. The narrow streets of Stohess District became a chaotic battleground as Annie, in her Titan form, relentlessly pursued Eren. Buildings crumbled, and the ground trembled as she fought with terrifying speed and agility. Armin, Mikasa, and the other recruits fought valiantly, but were overwhelmed by Annie's raw power. Eren, witnessing the carnage, remembered Levi's words, urging him to believe in himself. Fueled by his desire to protect his friends, He finally overcame his fear and transformed into his Titan form. This time, his transformation was complete, his Titan body strong and fueled by a primal rage. The clash of the Titans was a brutal spectacle, shaking the city to its core as Aaron and Annie fought with devastating force. As the soldiers regrouped after the female Titan's attack, doubts and suspicions festered within their ranks. Armin, plagued by guilt and his encounter with the intelligent Titan, confided in Jean, sharing his observations about Annie Leonhart. Her familiarity with Marco's gear, her reaction to Aaron's use of a 104th Training Corps nickname, and her fighting style eerily similar to the female Titans, all pointed towards a disturbing conclusion: Annie might be their enemy. Mikasa, overhearing their conversation, confirmed that she too harbored similar suspicions. They decided to inform Aaron, but without concrete proof, they hesitated to directly accuse Annie. Meanwhile, Levi, ever perceptive, had already deduced the presence of a traitor among them. He challenged his squad to prove their loyalty and help him unmask the enemy within. His plan was to use Aaron as bait, orchestrating a mission to transport him through Stohess District under the guise of guarding supply wagons. The chapter ends with a sense of uncertainty and apprehension as the recruits face the unknown, the threat of more Titan shifters among them, and the question of Ymir's true allegiance. If you enjoyed this book breakdown, please consider liking this video and subscribing to get notified when we post our next breakdown.